So it's a little unfamiliar that it's still light out when we're coming in because of the time change. But it's wonderful to be here again on a Wednesday night. Welcome to everyone in the temple and at home. I think, yes, people have joined. And I just wanted to say that I'll speak up extra loud because apparently the microphone ran out of battery, so we'll just have to rely on my voice to be hopefully as projecting as possible so that all can hear us. But can you hear me okay here? And I'm glad because I couldn't really do much about it otherwise. Turning up the mic, I just turn up my own voice. But hopefully everyone can hear me at home as well or wherever you're joining from. So welcome to this 10-week course on awakening joy. And I think it's our fourth night together already. Is that right, John? Yeah, okay, you're nodding. So so tonight's theme is going to be gratitude as part of awakening joy. And actually just wanted to say a few words of gratitude myself. And just whenever I come here on a Wednesday night, I just really come with so much gratitude for all of us that come here together from all kinds of walks of life and joining together and just learning together about the Dhamma, about the teachings of the Buddha. And I always come in with the sense that we're all teachers to one another. And so just really grateful to all of you that you share your own wisdom, your own life path here. A lot of you ask questions or make comments, share from your own wisdom, and I really just deeply appreciate that, all of us coming together here, and whatever other days you come as well. So just wanted to say welcome to this theme of gratitude this evening. And thought this evening we could just start with a short reflection, with a short meditation, just a little guidance to get us into this theme of gratitude. So I'm just going to ring the bell to get us started. So just allow yourself a few moments to fully arrive here in your body, in your mind, in your heart. Just taking a moment to truly land in the space, the seat that you've taken, be it here on the bench or the cushion at the temple or at home, sitting or maybe even stretching out if you have that luxury. So just noticing your posture for a moment. Noticing the ground beneath you, the earth holding you, supporting you. Having a sense of your body, of your breath moving through the body. And as best as you can, allow yourself to sit quietly in a relaxed posture, relaxed and at the same time alert. And then slowly bringing your attention into your heart center, your spiritual heart in the center of your chest. And just imagining that you're breathing in and out from the heart center. And as you inhale this next time, visualize breathing in kindness. And then with each exhale, allowing any negativity, any tension to be released from your body, from your heart, from your mind. So breathing in with a sense of loving kindness, and breathing out, releasing anything that feels negative or is ready to be released in this moment. And then see if you can reflect on some blessing in your life. Perhaps it's a person, an animal, a place. Something in your life that you feel grateful for. And when that comes to mind, inviting an image of that. Taking a moment to silently send a thought of appreciation for what you're grateful for with a simple, sincere thank you. And letting your awareness fully experience, taking the time to feel in your body the energy of that blessing in your life. Fully taking it in. And then shifting from that, again, for a moment, reflect on one more blessing in your life. Something you're grateful for. A person, an animal, a circumstance, a situation, whatever comes to mind in this moment. And taking a moment again to appreciate that. Silently saying to yourself, thank you. And fully allowing yourself to experience the sense of gratitude in your body, in your heart, and in your mind. And you can decide for yourself if you wish to have your eyes remain closed for the remainder of the talk, or if you'd like to gently open your eyes again. It's completely up to you. So just wanted to start by saying that gratitude is really one of the most direct ways that we can open our heart to feel a sense of joy and well-being in our lives. And it really helps us to get in touch with the many blessings in our lives. I know that over time with these hard practices of Buddhism, like loving kindness and compassion, but in particular gratitude, that it's really helped me to sort of naturally bring out more of a sense of joy. There's many practices I realize throughout the day that I'm just really in touch with gratitude, and not just because I know that it's really important to balance out this overwhelming sense of this world where there's so much crisis and stress and war and violence, and that it's really important to balance that out with positive emotions, but I think that Buddhist practice has that just naturally drawn that out in me. I know that there are times that I've gone to Thich Nhat Hanh Center, to Deer Park, up in Escondido, and the way that Thich Nhat Hanh encourages his students to really take a moment to reflect on this bowl of food when everyone goes to the kitchen, to the dining hall and eats together. And there's this long time before we even start eating, and just reflecting how everybody is connected in this meal, and how we really depend on this source of food, from the farmers, to the truckers and the grocery workers and the clerks and the cashiers, how everyone is reflected in this meal. It gives me a real great sense of gratitude just for this bowl of food. And I really pause for that and take in with gratitude that I have this meal this day. And it might feel frivolous, but it just feels really important to honor that. And it almost feels, maybe a crime is too much of a harsh word, but it just feels really important to honor, to have food to eat every day, and to reflect and pause before I take my first bite. So that's, just wanted to share one of my daily gratitude practices with you. And then at the same time, as we begin a gratitude practice, and it happens with loving kindness practice too, that a lot of us have been conditioned in ways to not really take in the good and to be focused on the negative. I think even our ancestors that still lived sort of in the forest among tigers and lions and had to really protect themselves and be on the lookout from danger, that it's sort of ingrained in us to just have our satellite dishes out for what could go wrong in the environment right now, instead of, oh, what is also going well, what is positive in this moment. And so when we begin a gratitude practice, though, it's really important to know that cultivating positive emotions such as gratitude can also bring up its opposite in the beginning, especially because of our habit energies on seeing what's wrong in our environment. So it's really a path, it's really a process. And so just to know that this process of awakening joy through gratitude in this case is also very much a purification process that can show us our habitual tendencies, like only seeing, like I said, the negative side of human nature, or feeling a sense of doom about the world. You know, with all the wars and violence that we become aware of, it's really easy just to feel a sense of doom. Wow, you know, how can this be that humans can act in all these ways towards one another? It's easy to sink into a sense of doom. So connecting with gratitude in our hearts, we might also become aware of these habitual negative thought patterns and emotions that can show up, that reside inside of us for those reasons. And so we become mindful of our own tendency to focus on what's wrong, and it becomes easy to complain, to get into this habit of complaining, the complaining mind, of being critical, of being angry or frustrated or annoyed. So kind of like having a mind filled with aversion towards life and the people around us. It's very easy to see what's wrong. Well, in Buddhism, they actually talk about 3 different sort of mindsets. One is the aversive mind, and then there's the greedy mind, and then there's sort of the deluded mind that doesn't really know what's happening. So, you know, you might not be aversive, you might be more looking for, oh, this feels really good, how can I get more of that? But I just wanted to say in general that because of our conditioning, because of our ways of growing up, that a lot of us have a lot of negative messages about themselves and about others maybe instilled in themselves, and that it's really important to become aware of that and to balance that out with more positive emotions, bringing gratitude and more well-being and joy in our hearts and minds into our lives. So when we bring mindfulness to our thoughts and emotions, it can be kind of, at least to me it is, a humbling experience to see the ways that we can be caught in what the Buddha called dukkha, this really important word in Buddhism that most often translates as suffering or dis-ease or unsatisfactoriness. And so this deep-seated sense that whatever is here in the moment is not enough to make me happy, not enough to make us happy. And it's really amazing, maybe sort of almost kind of shocking, that that's really so ingrained in us that even when we have a moment of peace, maybe we're watching, like last week we talked about the beautiful sunset, and we might be out watching the sunset and appreciating it, in our minds it's always, oh, how can we experience that again? Or I'm eating a beautiful bowl of food, and then you think about, oh, what am I going to eat tomorrow for breakfast? Or how can I top the experience? You know, it's never quite enough just to rest in what's present for us right now. There's always, we're already on the lookout for something better, or something, you know, because of our conditioning, it's never good enough. It has to be something else yet. So it's always this doing versus being that we get caught in. So mindfulness is really the first step to learn to free ourselves of these conditioned habits of mind that can really, in a soft way, throughout time with mindfulness practice, can be undone with intention, with awareness, and with practicing in a new way. In this case, bringing in more of what's actually good, being on the lookout, what's positive, being grateful for what we have in our lives. It's really a process. And so as a starting place, we actually don't try to force ourselves to be joyful. We don't push away any negative emotions when they're present, but rather notice them with a kind and caring attention, just to know, in this moment I'm actually feeling quite well. I might have felt really anxious or fearful or frustrated or angry yesterday, but look, in this moment, I just had a cup of tea with a loved one or with a friend, or a meaningful conversation. There was some connection, and I'm actually feeling well in this moment. And so this can then really open us up to also recognizing moments of feeling okay when that is present, the sense, there's a sense of all rightness in this moment. And so we can learn over time to include taking in the good in our mindfulness practice, being on the lookout, as it's often said in neuroscience. And the first book on Buddhism that I read in 2003, so 21 years ago now, was actually, and I'm sure a lot of you might have read it or heard about it, it's the book by the Dalai Lama called The Art of Happiness. And in this book, the Dalai Lama starts out with a very, very strong statement saying that the purpose of life is to be happy. So we might even just reflect for a moment just how that lands in ourselves. The purpose of life is to be happy. I just want to repeat that for the people that are walking in, that the Dalai Lama says the purpose of life is to be happy. I didn't want anyone to miss that, and to really take that in. Wow, yes, the purpose of life is to be happy. And I know that for me, in times when I get really caught up in activities or in responsibilities, and there's no room for reflection, there's no room to breathe and to really reflect. And I think that's probably why a lot of people come to a spiritual practice, a temple like this, or a church, or a mosque, whatever it is. It's like, okay, is there something else other than just being busy, having responsibilities, and repeating the same over and over again, maybe old habit energies? And it's not to say that we shouldn't take care of our responsibilities, but just to really reflect the purpose of life is to be happy. And if we're not feeling happy, what are maybe some of the changes that we want to incorporate in our lives to bring us closer to this intention to be happy that we really set out on a couple of classes ago, just to set this intention for well-being, to set this intention for happiness, and bring more of that into our lives. So to learn to appreciate all that is good in our lives is a good starting place, to really no longer miss the opportunity to take in the good, to recognize and notice, just like we can notice everything in this moment that we can be grateful for, to not miss those opportunities. It's really important, especially in this world where we get bombarded with negativity all the time. And so I really just want to say with all these words that gratitude is a particularly potent ally in awakening joy in our hearts and minds. So it helps expand the heart and mind and opens up space to hold the difficulties that we meet. So it's really a way of saying yes to life, to see what's good, and then also at the same time to learn in new ways to deal with what's challenging or what's difficult, what needs attention, what needs compassion from ourselves. And so I think I said this last time about what the Thich Nhat Hanh famously said, to try looking, and this can be a starting place for gratitude or for taking in or for opening ourselves up for joy, He says that try looking for what's not wrong. Last week I had a toothache. Today I don't. How wonderful. And that might seem, kind of naive or simple, but it's really true. I mean, it's amazing that we have the sense, especially if we're going through a phase where it feels really depressing, or there's just a lot of fright or fear in our hearts, a lot of anger, and we identify as being an angry person or a fearful person, to really take in, no, it's always shifting, and look, wow, I just spent a whole week worrying and being really scared, and in this moment I'm actually experiencing a moment of well-being. It's really important to notice that, not to miss that. Really important. I'm saying that more to myself than to you, maybe. So, to remind myself as well. So, I love this a metaphor. One of the main effects of practicing gratitude is that our appreciation radar is out much more consistently, and we actually start seeing what's good in our life. So almost imagining that for a moment, that we have this appreciation radar out. And I already mentioned the way that my radar is out on a daily basis for appreciation is just to reflecting on this bowl of food at least once a day for breakfast, really taking the time to not just, okay, I put the meal down, I start shoveling it down, but to really just take a moment and pause and really take in, with a sense of gratitude, all the causes and conditions that had to be in place for me to receive this food in my bowl in this moment for this meal. So gratitude really helps us to touch a kind of purity and innocence inside us, beyond our stories and dramas, beyond any thought that says that this moment isn't good enough, like I said before. And so gratitude, if you imagine that for a moment, really opens the heart like a satellite dish. So in extending thanks outward, we can then receive all the blessings and benevolence that life has to offer us. It's sort of in a similar way, if we see only the negative, we're sort of putting out a negativity radar, and then probably more negative things are going to be received. If our heart is only open to receive the negative, that's probably what we're going to bring in. And if we just open up this radar of positivity, of gratitude, we're probably going to receive inviting more blessings into our lives. And like I said, those kinds of blessings are usually missed by a mind and heart that is contracted by stress and aversion, that basically then leaves no room for the blessings to enter into our being, into our hearts. And so a grateful heart can notice more acutely all the goodness around us and is able to take it in more fully. And I think we really can find that to be true if we practice in this way, to really notice the blessings in our lives, to notice what we can be grateful for. And a key support for cultivating a grateful heart is remembering this attitude of awe and wonder all around us. I think we're all born with that, with the sense of awe and wonder, and I think it's most easily observed in young children, just being out and being so curious about the world, and just, there's a little worm that can be dug up in the earth, and just being just so appreciative and curious about the world, and how can we invite that back? How have we lost that as on our path as adults, and how can we bring back more a sense of wonder and awe into our own hearts and minds? So it's kind of like opening the door to letting ourselves touched by the simplest things. And I often notice that when I'm passing a stranger and that person is smiling at me, or I'm smiling at that person, that I really notice that has a positive impact. This person that I don't even know, but they're smiling at me, I feel like, oh wow, that really shifts my mood sometimes in a very profound way. I tend to develop relationships even with the cashier at Sprouts or the person that stacks the fruits and vegetables, and know a little bit about his life. And it's a really meaningful exchange, and I think it's not something to be underestimated, that it's really the little things that can bring more joy and well-being into our lives. I was just last weekend out in the desert with my partner and another dearest person in my life, and my dear friend had a desert cabin there for many years, so I've been out with her for many years, and just sitting in pure nature and sitting in meditation to watch the sun rise straight out of the earth. And it's just really a moment of just deep awe and wonder about this earth that we live on, to be able to experience that, to experience a spring on the desert when the flowers are just beginning to come out and the bunnies are running around and the birds are singing really loud. I was sitting in my partner's garden this morning to have a meditation together, and just hear the birds just chirping so loud. It's like, yes, it's spring right now. And just taking that in with a sense of gratitude. It's really the little things in life that can really connect us to a sense of joy. I want to say that, I can't say that often enough. Don't miss those moments. They're really important for our sense of well-being. So again, when we're in touch with the mystery and the awe and the wonders of life, we can open up to something larger than ourselves, just like that experience in the desert really connected me to something larger than myself when I was sitting there watching the sun rise directly out of the earth. So whether you call that God or the universe or the Dharma, the teachings of the Buddha, whatever it is in your vocabulary and your spiritual path, we can surrender to that with a sense of humility and deep trust that helps us let go of fear and control. When the heart can open in gratitude and well-being versus shrinking and contracting in fear and wanting to control life, but just opening in gratitude and faith and trust to this present moment, whatever is here. There's a Catholic contemplative by the name of Brother David Steindl Rast, and so he points out in his beautiful book, Gratefulness, the Heart of Prayer, he says that when we're grateful for what is here right now, our presence is wholehearted, undistracted, and alive. We can let ourselves be surprised by life. So saying yes in this moment is really the essence of mindfulness practice. When we can begin to see that the present moment is enough just as it is, it really then strengthens our ability to be content with whatever life is offering us. So I just wanted to really emphasize that contentment simply means not looking for a better moment. And so that then gives birth to appreciation, which then blossoms into gratitude. And it's not saying that, oh yeah, I'm suffering and it doesn't matter that I have a knee pain or that I am suffering from sciatica, but it's just simply noticing, okay, this is how it is right now, and how can I open my heart, how can I come to a place of okayness with what is present without fighting it, because oftentimes when we fight what is here is when we shrink, when we shut down to the experience, and when we can open our heart to what's present, there can really be a softening in our bodies and minds and hearts that then opens us to find this moment of all rightness with whatever is present in this moment. And in this way, it can really be that paying careful attention in this way, that mindfulness itself becomes an appreciation practice. So I wanted to do another short mini exercise just to relate us to that, to experience that. So just taking a moment again to close your eyes, to bring your attention into the body, into your breath. And then take a minute and notice all the things that can be appreciated at this very moment. Perhaps beginning with this life breath that is our companion from the moment that we're born until the moment that we die. What do you sense can be appreciated about this moment? Just taking a minute or so. If you have a regular meditation practice, and if you don't, I really encourage you to incorporate that, to just even meditate for 20 minutes a day if you can find a quiet place that is sort of your sacred place, be it a silent prayer, or just a receiving, or in the Buddhist tradition, a Buddhist meditation that we often share in this meditation, in this temple. But if you do that, or when you start doing that, I really encourage you to include a gratitude practice in the beginning of your meditation, or maybe towards the end of the meditation, just to really reflect for a few moments, what is it that I'm grateful for today? Especially if you are practicing meditation at the end of the day, what are some things that I can be grateful for that happened to me today? And I just wanted to, by finishing up the talk, just wanted to say a few words about maybe how to, or a few suggestions about how to practice gratitude in daily life. And the Awakening Joy course that I'm myself taking right now as a student with my teacher, Buddhist teacher James Barris, he really recommends that people buddy up with someone, and maybe in this setting we don't know each other well enough, but it could be a friend in your life that you might be able to convince to be your gratitude partner. And all it takes is that basically you exchange an email every day that expresses what you were grateful for in that day. So you're actually not having an exchange with that person, but you're just sending your friend an email. Today I'm grateful for clean drinking water, or that I was able to take a shower today, that I had a meaningful conversation with my coworker, whatever it is, maybe just 5 things, and you send it to your friend, and then that friend send it to you. And if you do this over time, I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to have a positive impact on your level of well-being in your body and mind. And then also the second recommendation is to choose someone that you would like to write a gratitude letter to. And this might be something larger. It's not something you do every day, but maybe just once. Picking somebody that you would like to express gratitude to in writing. And I mentioned Dr. Martin Seligman last time, the father of positive psychology. He really highly recommends this practice of writing a gratitude letter. He says that of all the exercises for developing happiness, he has found that this is one of the most effective ones of all. And even writing a letter without sending it really has a major impact on one's well-being. So it's really important to do that if you can. I really encourage you to do that. I just did that very recently with someone that I felt like my heart was closing to, and there was a lot of difficulty, and I sent them this gratitude letter, and I really saw that it had a positive impact on myself and on that person as well. It really helps open the heart for both parties. And the same with a gratitude journal. If you happen to have a a daily journal writing practice, or even if you don't, to just sit down at the end of the day, very simply writing down 3 to 5 things. These are the things that I'm grateful for today. And one that might be perhaps the most daring, especially in Western societies, is to sit down and actually write a letter of gratitude to yourself. I tried that the other day in the class, and I was encouraged to keep writing after the class, and I noticed how I haven't finished it. And so it's interesting to note, what's the difficulty here of writing a letter of gratitude to myself? But if you want to be really daring and go all out, I encourage you to write a letter of gratitude to yourself. We're so conditioned. There's so much self-criticism, I think, embedded in all of our hearts. And to write a letter of gratitude, one might become really aware and use that as a mindfulness practice. When you start saying positive things, what happens? It can be a purification process. Again, your mind and heart might be filled with all the negatives that come to mind, but just encourage you to keep writing and finish writing a whole letter of gratitude. But I'm really just encouraging to pick one of those just as a practice, either finding a daily gratitude partner that you exchange an email with, writing a letter of gratitude to someone else, to yourself, a daily gratitude journal, or another last one is to express gratitude to someone directly in the moment when you feel grateful. I feel especially in the workforce or places of work, we often only find out that we did something wrong, but if somebody does something positive, please don't forget to tell them you're grateful for them. It can have a huge impact, and I feel it's very much needed, especially in our society. So, just want to quote to end this talk, one of my favorite teachers. I've never met him, but he's the father of Cambodian Buddhism. His name is Maha Ghosananda. And he said that if we cannot be happy in spite of our difficulties, what good is our spiritual practice? If we cannot be happy in spite of our difficulties, what good is our spiritual practice? It's definitely something to reflect on. So I would like to guide us in a meditation on gratitude this evening, leading into silence. Just going to ring the bell. If you feel comfortable, you can begin by closing your eyes. If not, maybe just lowering your gaze so the attention and the energy can still be inwards into your own being. Centering yourself in this present moment, perhaps by softly focusing on your sensations of breathing, noticing the in-breath, noticing the out-breath. Having a sense of the quality of the breath in this moment, whether it's long or short, deep or shallow. And just letting it be as is. Having a sense of the whole body breathing. And just allowing any emotions to settle in the body, allowing the bodily activities to settle. And the mind to settle in the breath. And again, I'd like to invite you to bring your attention into your heart center, the spiritual heart in the center of your chest. Imagining that you're breathing in and out from the heart center. And allowing the heart to open in gratitude for the breath that nourishes every cell in your body and has sustained you from the moment you were born. Gratitude for the miracles of your body that, despite whatever weaknesses or limitations, serves you and allows you to sense the wonders of the world. Gratitude for your brain that coordinates all the functions of your body without your even being aware of it. Gratitude for consciousness that allows you to perceive, to feel, to be amazed. For the eyes that allow you to see the abounding beauty that surrounds you. Colors and shapes, the face of a loved one. For the ears that enable you to hear birds singing, wind rustling in leaves, words people say to you, and the laughter of children or loved ones. Gratitude for the sense of smell that allows you to enjoy the fragrance of flowers, the scent of fresh air, your favorite food. For your mouth and tongue that enable you to taste the fruits of the earth, to enjoy a ripe peach or chocolate melting in your mouth. For the skin that protects you and yet allows you to touch and sense the world, feel warmth, coolness, softness, and the touch of a loved one. And gratitude for your heart that beats faithfully your whole life, from even before you were born. So see if you can open to a sense of wonder and gratitude for this amazing gift of being awake and alive in this precious human form. Even the fact that we exist, or that anything exists at all, is a wondrous mystery. We all really live in the midst of a miracle. Just like to offer some minutes of silence to be with a sense of gratitude in our own ways. So as you continue to sit in meditation, I just like to offer a few reflections by one of the most well-known and foremost teachers of Western Buddhism, Jack Kornfield, on gratitude. Gratitude is a gracious acknowledgement of all that sustains us, a bow to our blessings, great and small. Buddhist monks begin each day with chants of gratitude for the gifts of food and shelter, of friendship, and for the teachings that benefit all. Gratitude is the confidence in life itself. In it we feel how the same force that pushes grass through cracks in the sidewalk invigorates our own life. In Tibet, the monks and nuns even offer prayers of gratitude for the suffering they have been given. Grant me that I might have enough suffering to awaken in me the deepest possible compassion and wisdom. Gratitude does not envy or compare. It is not dependent on what you have. It depends on your heart. You can even find gratitude for your measure of sorrow, the hand you've been dealt. There is mystery surrounding even your difficulties and suffering. And sometimes it's through the hardest things that your heart learns its most important lessons. Thank you for your practice. We do have a few minutes for comments or questions, maybe just taking a moment to reflect if there's anything that wants to be shared on your part. You know, we always welcome your wisdom. And the same at home, if you're online, if you want to write a question in the chat, you know, it's most welcome. Just maybe taking a moment to see if there's something. Yes?
This is my first time attending this group, and I noticed online it said that this was a 10-week curriculum of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious as to which week out of the 10 weeks this group would be.
So so just asking what week are we on in terms of awakening joy. So I think we're on week 4.
Okay.
But the way that the classes are structured, and if I failed to say that in the beginning, please forgive me, the way the classes are structured are they're in and of themselves complete, each one of them. So it'd be great if you can be here for all classes, but if you've missed the first, you know, you're still hopefully getting some benefit from each and every class that you might be able to come to. But the classes run through, I think, the first or second week of May. So we'll still be here for quite a while.
Okay.
So thanks for being
Happy to
here.
be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you for being here. Yes.
Gratitude. I've been practicing for a while, and my gratitude starts in the morning when I wake up. I'm just grateful that I get to experience another day. I don't know if most people are grateful for that, but I am. And another time that I experience gratitude, the relationships that sustain me and me to them, is when I'm walking along the shoreline. I do it as much as I can, 3 to 5 times a week, that I'm able to walk, that I am barefoot on a shoreline at all with what the universe is offering, with the ocean and the breeze and the warmth here in San Diego, that there's so many that aren't able to walk, and many that won't open their eyes in the morning. So they're simple things, but I try to be very aware of them.
Yeah. And thank you for the reminder for all of us. I think there are so many things where we can be in a groove and just take things for granted, and oftentimes only when we lose something or someone, we are reminded, oh, I wish I had been more grateful, or I wish I had expressed my appreciation. And you're really, in your way, expressing appreciation for life, for your body, for your ability to walk, for your ability to open your eyes in the morning. That's very important and very beautiful. Thank you for sharing that and reminding us all of that, how important that is. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, hi.
How do you balance feeling grateful with giving attention to your negative experience?
To your
To your negative experience.
to your negative experience.
Like, how do you balance that? Because
I think the most important aspect is that you don't try to ignore that the negative experiences are there, that you're really mindful of that. And I mean, this is overall part of a larger Buddhist mindfulness class where we can actually learn to be aware of emotions, we can learn to be aware of body sensations, we can learn to be aware of thoughts. There could be negative thoughts, or there could be pain in the body, there could be anger or frustration. And I think as part of Buddhist mindfulness, it's just really important to hold that with a sense of self-compassion, to not push it away, but to really allow. I think I spoke earlier about when we can allow or accept, that's when the heart can open and soften into the experience. Sometimes I think when you ask about balance, I think if a negative emotion becomes overwhelming and you notice, oh, I can't hold my mindfulness anymore, that's probably a signal that maybe it's gone too far of how much you allow in at the same time. And the Buddha talked about balancing out emotions with, for example, the antidote that he presented to anger or frustration is a loving kindness practice. So when you notice there is so much anger that you can't actually hold mindfulness anymore, that it becomes overwhelming, that it would probably be important to offer some self-love, some self-compassion, some loving kindness, and just to see if for me it's always a sign when I can no longer hold mindfulness, when there's not enough space for mindfulness, that I'm sucked into the negative. Then it's probably important to either turn to self-compassion and just notice, oh, this feels really hard right now. May I be well and happy, may I be free from suffering, and maybe turning, like you said, I'm sorry, what's your name? Diane, yeah, to really, recall what we can be grateful for in those moments, to balance it out with gratitude, to balance it out with what you can be grateful for, what's going well. Looking for taking in the good experiences, because I guarantee you that those are also there, even while you're going through maybe challenging emotions or difficulty that we tend to overlook. We tend to overlook maybe a beautiful connection that we have with another human being or with an animal, or, like you said, walking barefoot on the ground, and maybe inviting those experiences in when you feel really sort of hijacked by negativity. What are the things that bring a sense of ease or joy into your life, and to really, highlight those in that time to balance it out. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else that wants to maybe share about their gratitude practice, or any comment, question? It's more of a quiet evening, and that's wonderful, so we'll just have to invite David to come up. And just expressing gratitude to David as he's coming up. He's here faithfully every other week to open the doors, to clean things up afterwards and make sure that we're all right in this space. So thank you for that, David. And just want to say thank you online for your presence and for your practice. Hopefully see you next time.